Welcome to your online art song experience, sponsored by Andi Musik. The name Andi Musik in English means to music, and it comes from the Schubert song. Our aim is the education, promotion and performance of art song. My name is Louise Scott, and I'm the founder and artistic director. We've produced short movies with just one song. It contains the translation or the words in English, as short ad hoc discussion by the artists and a performance by them. You can contact us through the information at the end of this presentation. Thank you for watching.
I have the wonderful soprano Jennifer Black here with me today. Hi Jennifer.
Hi Louise.
Great to see you.
Good to see you too, thanks.
And we're going to talk about the Richard Strauss song Mutterta, ndelei. Mutterta, ndelei was written in 1899, 2 years after the birth of his son. And it's an absolutely interesting song, isn't it?
It is.
And Strauss actually chose poetry which had been written 100 years before by a man called Gottfried Burger. And Gottfried Burger wrote folk poesy, and popular poetry is what we would call it. And it was about, for him, Burger, it was important that the poetry was true and that it was living. And so this poetry about a mother, a new mother, I think probably a first-time mother, about talking about her fabulous baby, is obviously something that was fun to do, and Strauss and his wife Pauline used to sing this. Now, going back to the poetry, Strauss set this in a different kind of a time signature than we would maybe expect to see. Possibly this is because Strauss was admired for his interpretations of Mozart, Wagner and Liszt, and he also used to conduct Mozart operas, and he would have seen that for those people who were higher born, the time signatures in the music were normally 3-4-4-4, something like that. But this time signature was 3-8, and Mozart used those kinds of time signatures for people who were of lower birth. And people like Zelina, for example, from one of Mozart's operas. And so Strauss chose his time signature for this particular song. And we have a clue as to how to interpret some of the words here and some of the song. For instance, in the very opening, in the second bar, normally you would do the words, an ordinary composer would just do Seht mir doch mein. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. Not Strauss. Strauss does Seht mir doch mein. And so emphasizing the word mine right in the second bar. So we get an idea there of what this lady is about. And then she goes on to say beautiful and take a whole bar to say beautiful. And then she goes on to talk about the child's hair. And we get 4 bars of this with a melisma. Melisma means singing many notes on one vowel sound. So we get all of this throughout the song. Strauss wrote Meinem Kind 2 years before this, when Pauline was pregnant with their first son. And then he added 2 years later this song and the very famous Wiegenlied. So it's a group of 3 Mutterlieder, which he and Pauline used to sing at concerts. And she would come in and sing this group of 3 songs from a mother's perspective. It's meant to be fun, and it's meant to be joyous, I think would be right. Anyway, I'm going to hand this over to Jennifer to tell us what it's like from a singer's perspective.
Thank you. Yes, it is very joyful and playful, and it's just such a wonderful song. I I don't get a chance to do a lot of songs about being a mother. And I'm not familiar with that many. So it's wonderful to know that this is part of a trilogy, actually, of the song cycle. We have taken a few liberties with the tempo markings, or actually, there is no tempo marking. It only says lebhaft und einfach, which means light and simple. We are not given a tempo marking. And if you yourself are a parent or have been around children in any capacity, you know that a child's tempo is never consistent. There's a fast mode, there's a slow mode, and the transition between the two might be quite abrupt. And I have a 4.5-year-old, and I find that every day of my life. And so there's a lot of flexibility that you have to have when you're around children. And when you're gloating and bragging on your child, it feels like the way this mother is talking about their child and the way the music goes, it almost feels like they're kind of doing a little dance, and the tickling of the cheeks and the stroking of the hair, and just, maybe a few tickles here and there. It's really playful, and you can hear all that in the music and the dynamics between the piano and the voice. So we've had a really fun time doing this piece, and we really hope you enjoy it. Thank you so much.
Seht mir doch mein schönes Kind mit den goldenen Sonnenlöckchen, blauen Augen, roten Bäckchen. Leutchen, habt ihr auch so eins? Leutchen, nein, ihr habt keins. Seht mir doch mein süßes Kind, fetter als ein Fetterschneckchen, süßer als ein Zuckerpäckchen. Leutchen, habt ihr auch so eins? Leutchen, nein, ihr habt keins. Seht mir doch mein holdes Kind, nicht so mürrisch, nicht so mürrisch, immer freudig, immer freudig. Leutchen, habt ihr auch so eins? Leutchen, Leutchen, ihr habt keins. Seht mir doch mein frommes Kind, keine bitterböse Seelen wird ihr Mütterchen lieben. Leutchen, möchtet ihr so eins? Leutchen,